Hey guys, welcome to Isaiah's Reviews, and today we'll be reviewing a really cool product that I found out in the wild. It's the Neso tent. We went down to the beach for the first half of the week we were there. These canopies, they were down there, a couple of them, two separate sizes, so that was cool. I got to review on the beach the product, and it wasn't even my product at the time, but I filmed it, kind of did an assessment of what I thought it could do, and it held up great. And so I just contacted the company and I was like, I'm sitting on my balcony right now looking at your product and I am very impressed. And they don't give out review units, so I had to buy it, and here we are today. I've got the Grande, I think that is, the 9x9. Everything will be down in the YouTube description, but as far as the two sizes, what the two sizes are and the links to them. But overly impressed. When normally at the beach, you know, you got to go down there early in the morning. There's no trace, leave no trace behind, because most of the time they clean the beaches and stuff, so they want everything off. And you see these people struggling with these canopies. It takes 2 or 3 people to get them back together and into a bag, plus dragging it out to the beach. Right now I have on the entire canopy, and this is the large canopy. It's 6.5 pounds, so I can easily go trotting myself down at 5 in the morning, throw this thing out, and my spot's marked. And then when we get out there, I don't have to worry about the wind because I'm not going to set it up yet. I'm going to fill up the 4 bags of sand outstretched, and I'll go through the whole process here in a little bit. I've really reviewed it hard at home since I got back, but seeing it in action there was the testament to me. But anyway, you can get out there, lay it out flat, and then whenever you come down, decide to come down after breakfast with the whole family or whatever, you just throw these poles up and you're good to go. And it comes in this super small bag, and you roll it up, stick it in the top part, and you got your retractable poles in here. But the cool part is there's like a, looks like a cooler type pouch in here. And what I did was I just put some plastic stakes in here, a bag that I had from another tent. And this is just a note for Neso tent. It would be cool to add these to it so that you can use it away from the beach, because you can actually use these away from the beach. And here they are, just a small plastic set. I'm sure these are pretty cheap online. If I find a set, I'll include it, but it only takes 4, but they kind of break sometimes, so it would be cool if they could sell this with 6 of these, 2 as backups. So the first half of the week was extremely stormy and windy, very windy. There was umbrellas blowing all over the place. I had to help a lady get one of the umbrellas, and it actually bent her pole at the base, so that's how hard the wind was blowing. And these Neso tents did extremely well in that wind. And what you do is you just lay it out flat, and you fill up the bags with sand. And you can even dig a small hole and put them in there. So you may want to, in that pouch, you may want to include a small fold-out shovel or something like that, a plastic one, and stick in there so it doesn't add too much weight to you, but still 6.5 pounds. You can probably put some accessories in there that weigh something. You're not going to notice a difference. But put the bags in there, and then whenever you get finished doing that, you can lay it flat till you get ready to come out to the beach. And then whenever you're ready, the poles will just extend. I think there's 4 or 5 sections to it, about 7 feet of clearance, so you can walk completely under the thing without it hitting your head, which is awesome, unless you're over 7 feet tall, and that's an oddity, but hey, you're cool. But yeah, extend those out, put them up about 1 foot away from the corners, and I will say that the corners are made pretty good. They have like this faux leather type corners to it, with a metal ring, and then the ropes go through that and go out to the sandbags. And the sandbags are pretty neat too themselves, because you can pull the sandbags up down the rope line, and then you're left with an end that you can use as a stake. So the bag's just not exclusive to the end of the rope, so you can move it out of the way and actually use the end for stakes when you're away from the beach. But you just put it's got foam ball heads on the top. The only thing over time I would fear is that this may dry rot. Had a relative bring up a good point that they've had this type of material like in their attic. You want to watch out with your storage conditions for this, that this may dry rot over time or something like that. But it's a dense foam, and I don't see these aluminum poles or whatever they're made out of poking through this. And it held up great. Like we put it up tight at a guy's house the other day, and There was no fear of this poking through and putting a hole in the fabric, because if you put a hole in the fabric, I think that's whenever the whole thing would be kind of shot. Like your ball that sits in there would just gravitate toward that hole, and I just don't think there's really a way to patch it. You just have to go get another piece of fabric from the manufacturer. So take that as a note. And those poles just have a flat surface on the bottom, so they don't go into the ground or into the sand or anything like that. You just put the thing up, and you could do a 2-pole configuration. The 2 poles will be toward the wind, so that you would have the lower half flapping in the wind behind you. That's the best way to do it. And then you're not really going off of the sun positioning whenever it's that windy at the beach. You're really relying on the direction of the wind, and then you work yourself around in the shade as you can. You can do a single pole design. I've seen that set up where it's just 1 pole and everything drooped around you, sort of like a teepee. And then there's a 3-pole configuration, and then the 4-pole. The 4-pole doesn't do really well in extreme winds, like the stormy beachy winds. It couldn't do the 4 poles, so you just put up 2 poles in the direction of the wind, and it held up just like a champ. Plenty of shade underneath, I thought, and if not, carry a couple umbrellas just to be on the safe side with you down there. Put those in there. I'll leave the link down in the description of the umbrellas that I recommend. They're the Tommy Bahamas, the new deluxe ones with the aluminum rods that go out. Those things will never break in the wind. They anchor down, and then they just stick. They don't blow over with the wind or nothing. I mean, they're amazing. They're the best beach umbrellas that they make, period. But I'll leave a link down there to those. Anyway, so we enjoyed it, had seeing it done at the beach. So when I got back, I had my unit here, like when we got back from where I'd ordered it down at the beach, because I was like, oh man, I really want this thing. And we just set it up at home, kind of left it sitting for hours and hours. And of course, there's not this much wind here, so it really doesn't do anything. I was wanting to see how much stress on those balls, like having it good and tight, what, you know, on that fabric, would it leave like one of those, like when you leave a clothes hanger on your clothes, you get this permanent like dimple in your fabric. I was wanting to see if that was the case with those poles, if it would leave that kind of indention, and not really. It was the material. It's like a 2-blend fabric, and it does great, like for stretching and all that. It has good memory. It goes back, it seems like, and the threads and everything. I inspected all that. Stitching looks good. There are some knockoffs of this that exist in the world, but this to me is the Kickstarter campaign. I think in 2014 this started, and they're at REI, the Neso tent is. They're at a bunch of beach shops along the coast. I think you can get it on Amazon. You can get it from nesotents.com. So this one's the real deal. The others seem to be the knockoffs. So go with the real deal, because then you might have that warranty that exists with it. You have that support, local support out of California, and you don't have to deal with it. I mean, I would just get the real deal. Spend a little bit extra if that's what it takes, but buy the actual product, the Neso tent one. The 4-pole configuration on land, I think would work no matter what. There were some storms rolling in yesterday when we used it and set it up with the 4-pole configuration. It handled all those winds great. It kind of wants to collapse a little bit on the sides, but it still sprung back with the stakes. No movement at all. Those stakes hold it in so steady. I was a little worried because you lay it out tight first, and you put in your sand. I used weights at one point, 10-pound weights on the corners without the stakes. And whenever I would raise up the poles, that that bag would slide across the grass a little bit. And then that's when I was like, oh, I need to use stakes for the ground. And the stakes worked. I mean, they didn't move, budge at all. So I don't know. I was a little scared I got it so tight in there, but man, that fabric, there's a lot of movement in the middle, you know. I mean, it stays up. But where the balls are, that fabric is extremely tight around it, and it held up. I was looking for, like, okay, is it gonna like have these runs like it's in stockings or something that might be the beginning of a disaster for this fabric, but there really wasn't any kind of runs in the material, so that would be a telltale sign that something bad's about to happen. But 2 days of it used 4-pole configuration, I couldn't see anything wrong with it. But I will leave comments down in the description if I ever do run into any kind of issues, but I plan on using this for like as long as possible. and I just can't wait to go back to the beach again, get out there, mark that spot. And you know, we had storms rolling in the first part of the week, and these people were just laying there, taking the 4 poles out or the 2 pole configuration out from underneath it and allowing it to relax over their chairs, cooler and all that stuff, and it's weather resistant on the top, so the rain would not come through it. And they just relaxed, pulled those poles out and folded it up and was back to the beach, while we're all over there like closing the umbrellas, tying it up, and then making a little pile of stuff. They just lowered it down on top of everything, come back, all their stuff was dry, they raised it back up and back at it again. That was the best product that I saw down there that I was a believer in. And it's just like I said, angels singing, light bulbs going off everywhere, and everybody at the beach, I think, was really impressed with the product. So explode on that subscribe button and ding that bell so you get notified on the next item that I'm going to review. I've got a lot going on. I got a stack of items prioritized over here. So this entire week is going to be go, go, go on the product side. And I'm always adventuring into beach gear and outdoor gear because that's just fun stuff. So get notified on that stuff too. So make sure to check out the links down in the description. Support this brand and this product as being an original US-based product. I think it's a great thing. It's going to make our lives easier, and I don't doubt at all that if I don't start seeing more and more Neso tents out on the beach, because it's just so stinking convenient. You could even throw it in your carry-on or something like that. That's how convenient it is. See ya!